Hey guys, Luke from A Taste of AZ. On today's episode, we've got Jonathan Robbins, the owner of Jonathan Robbins Bakery in Tempe. They make buns, croissants, whatever baked goods a restaurant could possibly need, and their stuff is in a variety of top-notch restaurants and hotels around the valley. Make sure to like the video below and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's jump into it.
What's your first and last name?
Jonathan Robbins.
And what is your bakery?
Jonathan Robbins Bakery.
Beautiful. Gets right to the point. You know who owns it. You know what it is, right?
Yeah.
So how did that start? Like how do you get into owning a bakery?
Okay, so I came to America, got a job I got a job in restaurants while I was in college. I loved it. It wasn't
Where'd you grow
work
up?
in South Africa.
Okay.
And so it wasn't work to me. I mean, they didn't even have to pay me, but I didn't tell them that. But but I was in college studying construction engineering. I hated it, so I deregistered. Still working in restaurants. A couple of years later, I went back to get a degree in business management. I graduated. Still working in a restaurant. Got a job wearing a suit and tie. I did that for 5 months. I hated it. It was like, this is just not for me.
Yeah.
But I still kept my night job in the restaurant. I quit. And there was a guy who'd done the bread for my wedding. And so out of interest, I'd hang out at his bakery. And a small little shop, like, I'm guessing like 30 feet by 30 feet, maybe. The size.
Yeah.
And then one day he told me he's closing the bakery down. If I want, I can buy it. And all I did is I'd hang out and help him with deliveries. I didn't know anything about baking.
Yeah.
So he sold me the business.
Where was this again?
This was on 7th Street in Camelback, just south of...
Oh, so this is that original purchase.
Yeah, the original bakery. There was a baker that worked with him, so he worked with me for 8 months. And then I moved to a new place, sharing again with somebody. And I sold him the business. And I kept some business and then kind of went along the way, one mistake after another.
Yeah.
I'm still here, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, that means that you're taking the right chances, right? You got to stumble a little bit.
Well, Fred, who sold me the business, said, if the customer likes what you're making, you're doing it correctly. Even if it was wrong, they were happy. So that's what was important.
Yeah.
So I guess that really helped, you know.
Absolutely. Well, so growing up in South Africa, like what was that? What was it like growing up in? I don't talk to many people that have grown up in South Africa. So what was that? What was that like compared to what people would see here?
So I was growing up 70s and 80s. Mid 80s, went to college there. The whole system was designed with apartheid, right? And the government ran the TV, the newspaper, the schools. So I grew up, and my dad supported that system, or my parents did. So I grew up never questioning what was going on.
Okay.
I mean, I did. I was like, I guess I was part of the brainwashed, you know. And I got to university, and I was like, holy shit, what's going on here? By the way, can I use bad language?
Yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. Please do. Please do.
All of a sudden, there were black people in my class, because remember, whites and blacks were segregated.
In South Africa still?
In South Africa. Yeah, this was 70s, 80s. Blacks couldn't vote, couldn't share bathrooms, were not allowed to live in white neighborhoods unless they were servants. They were allowed to live there.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to date black women. You couldn't intermarry between races. I mean, it was all controlled. If you did, you went to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like stupid. It's
a crime. Like they make it a
this
crime.
Was like, yeah. I mean, this was like, what, 40 years ago, 45 years ago. I mean, it's nuts. So I got to university and I was like, whoa, you know, all of a sudden, and I saw things that were going on. I never talked to my parents, and I never got on well, so I never really talked with them about stuff. I had friends. I did meet an American girl my 3rd year, and we started dating, and that's how I got to America, essentially.
Okay.
I came here, we got married, I got my papers. Very easy back then. You get married, You go down to INS, they give you a piece of paper, you have a work permit.
Yeah. 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Can't even finish your beer in time. Yeah.
I mean, gee, nowadays it's impossible.
Yeah.
And we need people, unskilled labor, essentially. I mean, or semi-skilled, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
So, and it's hard work. A bakery is not, it's not, people don't come to the bakery and say, I want to come work and be hot and sweaty. And,
yeah.
you know,
yeah.
It's not like a pastry shop, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
So,
where did your food, like, if you don't mind me asking, sorry to interrupt, but what was the food like? Like, did you come from a food family or was that a big thing? No.
So, okay. So if my mother watches this, she'll get pissed off. So I thought my mom was a great cook, and the people, you know, we had a servant that also cooked, and I thought that was great food. And I had no idea what great food was. I mean, if we went out for dinner, it was a steakhouse. And my dad cooked, he liked it well done. And that's what I ate because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I have to say that the meat in South Africa is incredible compared to here. And a lot of people,
really?
like when I've flown back with my wife and I've told her this, and the first time she went back there, because I'm remarried now. So wife number 2, and we went back, she, I mean, most people are like, wow, the meat here is incredible because all grass fed. There's no corn fed like in the US.
No factories and things like that.
Well, there is, but it's still grass fed, grazed.
Okay.
I mean,
gotcha.
It's a small country. I mean, size of Texas. I mean, it's not very big.
Oh, gotcha.
But my food experiences have been, I guess, I mean, obviously I had the bakery. I went to restaurants. I kind of went to chain restaurants. I didn't know much. And it's been over the years by meeting chefs and sort of tasting new things and traveling to England and France and Europe and just experiencing things that I've now learned more. And I mean, my manager and I, when we've traveled, like we'll go to restaurants, and like we go to Vegas for the International Baking Expo, and we spent the 5 days there just trying different restaurants and being able to see how things are. And the great thing with the internet now is if I want to learn something new, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, and the experts are, you know, like, I mean, several years ago, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 5 years ago, my mother-in-law gave me a sous vide stick.
What?
I did a sous vide stick. You know, the sous vide, for doing sous vide. You know, where you cook at a low temperature for several hours.
Oh, I don't know.
Sous vide is, come on.
Like a recirculator, like a...
Yeah, the recirculator.
Like, so you can cook steaks and whatnot.
I'm learning. I'm learning, Jonathan. That was...
Okay, so there's a great website. It's Kenji Lopez Alt. I don't know if you know him or of him. He has a book he put out called Food Lab. It's an incredible book because it delves into the science of how things happen when it's cooked. So you understand. So like those old wives' tales they told you, like my grandmother did it this way and my mother did it this way. Well, that was crap. This is the way you should be doing it.
Yeah. Science tells the truth, right?
Exactly. So I'm very much like the science understanding that. I'm not the most meticulous. That's why I don't do pastry stuff. It's just no way. But anyway, that's I mean, I like good food. I haven't experienced much. I can say that much. I grew up with meat and potatoes. So there's a lot of things I won't eat. Still, I'm trying.
Okay. So that's just the habit that you just kind of carry over, right? You might have the desire to, or do you have the desire to, but you're just like, nah, I like what I like.
My daughter will try anything. I mean, she traveled to Bali and she's traveled to Japan, and I have family in Japan, my wife's family. And so my daughter ate all sorts of weird things, fried crickets, you name it. She ate that. I'm not, if something looks like you give it a shock and it'll walk off the plate, I'm not eating it.
Yeah. Like, no, take it back. Take it back. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I love Middle Eastern food, Italian food. I mean, I love all kinds of food though.
Yeah. As
long as it's good. My attitude related to food is, and it's even at the bakery, it needs to taste good first, and then we worry about how it looks. You know, kind of, that's me. The taste is the most important thing. And I mean, we have people working here, so screw-ups happen, you know, in general, but we try and have the best ingredients, try and make the best product. I can tell you now, our product is not as good delivered as it used to be. Because when I was baking in the beginning, we'd be baking at 4 a.m. and delivering at 6 a.m. So the hotels were getting a fresh, hot product. Well, now we're baking at 8 o'clock at night. So it's older.
Why? Why does that change?
Well, because the business has grown. We have over 250 customers. You can't deliver to everybody at the same time.
Sure.
You have to start earlier.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So
how'd that growth happen? So you buy it from a friend. You said it was what? 30 by 30?
It was a tiny little shop. So going back, so when I was helping Fred, he needed help, like as a baker. And so I said, well, I can help you find somebody. So I put an ad in the paper, because that was back then. We put ads in the paper.
Yeah.
And there was this French guy that came, and he got, and Fred hired him. And he worked there several weeks, and then Fred fired him because he was a drunk. And he burned things. And then I bought the bakery, and a few years later, I run into this guy, and I tell him what's gone on. And so I'm going about my business, running the bakery, struggling along my way. One day he shows up at the door and he goes, "Jonathan, I've come to help you." He was a French pastry chef. And pastry is laminated pastries, the French fourniserie and that kind of stuff, not the desserts.
Okay.
So he came, I would say, for 2 years. On his day off, he would spend 2 days at the bakery showing me laminated pastry. So the croissants, the puff pastry, the Danish. And so we started making that. And that's how we started to grow. I think my first customer was Camelback Inn on frozen, and going there and baking, and Scottsdale Princess, one of my first big customers. And so we started that way. And then one day he showed up, he said, "I've quit my other job. I'm now working for you." Because I never paid him for those first 2 years. I never had any money. I mean, and
he just wanted to do what he loved to do.
I guess. I mean, he's older. I'd say in his 60s.
Okay.
He worked, I don't know how many years he was there. And then we made enough money, so I bought an automatic sheeter. If you know what a sheeter is, it goes back and forth, and Rondo is like the popular name, for our size business. And basically, it's an electric rolling pin, I guess you call it. So you sheet the dough, and you can go thinner and thinner and thinner. And I had the manual, which is most common, but I bought an automatic one, which could do 4 times the amount of dough at a time. And all you set the stages getting thinner automatically. You press a button, boom, 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 fold it. And at the same time, I bought a cutting station that cut the triangles for the croissants. And about 2 weeks later, he quit because it was like an insult to him. Because he used to cut the croissants by hand. He'd be, the little triangles. And he left me, and then he actually passed away 6 months later. He was not well. He didn't tell us. I think he had liver cancer, maybe too much drinking or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's and then our business grew from word of mouth. I had no salespeople. Yeah. Chefs would move to different hotels, and they would call Jonathan for pastries and breakfast.
What's your goal? Was the goal to be that wholesale? Like, was it to be? Did you ever have a storefront? Was it a storefront, or was it always the wholesale?
Always been wholesale.
Okay.
My goal when I bought the bakery was to make enough money to open a restaurant.
Okay.
Well, it's 28 years later. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then we are opening a coffee shop now at the bakery.
I was going to say, I thought I read that you're going to be opening up a spot.
So, we talked and finally at the beginning of this year, we're like, okay, let's do it. And we actually bought the espresso machine before COVID hit, because we knew there was a problem in Italy. The guy sells the machine, said, "You know what, we may have trouble finding a machine. Maybe you should buy it." So we actually paid for it, and then everything crashed, And but we've built out the space, and I guess we're about 3 weeks away. The health department was here last week. Little tweaks here and there, and I think we're good to go. We're waiting for the POS system, which we've ordered. The coffee company that is supplying our coffee has given us some machines as well. Can I say the name?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're going to use Intelligentsia coffee.
Okay.
And I found that product I was in Las Vegas at the Baking Expo, and there was a Dutch company, equipment company, and they invited me over, and we chatting. He said, "You want a cappuccino?" I said, "Sure." And I'm not a fan of coffee, by the way.
Okay.
And so he made me a cappuccino, and I drank it. I'm like, "Wow, this is damn good." And then so I said to the guy, "Well, where's the coffee from?" And he calls the guy over who's a Dutch barista that they brought from Holland. And I'm thinking, I can't get this stuff here. And he goes, "Yeah, we got it California or Chicago Intelligentsia." So ever since then, I've been buying their espresso.
Nice.
And I drink it at home every morning because it's supposed to be good for me.
Okay.
But
And
I still don't like it.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, but you do it. You do it for the health purposes.
Now my manager loves coffee. She's like this coffee guru. So that's kind of the I'll do the pastry side, the breakfast pastry. She'll do the coffee side.
Gotcha.
And we've tested about 25 different companies for coffee, but we've settled on this. I mean, we just think it's great. We want to be sort of unique, and there's not a lot of places locally that use their product, and they do a lot of African coffee. And so
I like those.
I mean, coffee comes from Africa, so why not do it?
Yeah, I like them. They're a little lighter. They're a little more like they're lighter, and they're just they got a different flavor than that dark, which I like that sometimes too. But I don't know, Jonathan, you don't like coffee, so I don't even know why I'm telling you anymore. But you know what, though, Jonathan, that's a good transition because I was really impressed by looking into what you guys do, and you're wholesale. You guys have lots of clients at this point, or lots of customers, but you still have that focus on just one word, butter, right? You use butter in your recipes, right? So the ingredients are crucial for you guys.
Well, I mean, it's with Aldo, the French guy. It started with him. Obviously he did the laminating pastries with the butter. He told us which brand to use, and that was the brand we've used ever since. It's like a low moisture content, and it works with laminated pastry. I want things to taste good. I mean, we've in 2008, when the egg price went crazy. My manager at the time, he brings in the guy who's got the fake eggs, and I'm going, "Fermin, do you know me? I mean, come on, like, don't even waste your time."
What are fake eggs?
There's like powdered eggs that are. This is America. You can make fake anything. So there's an egg substitute, I guess, is what they call it.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, there's just no way. If a customer comes to me and said, "You know what, Jonathan, this is my recipe," because we do a lot of signature recipes. "This is what I want." That's a different story. Like, we make product with certain customers that they've given us the recipe, and we don't make it for anybody else. We sign contracts and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for us, I don't want to put a bad ingredient. Like, we don't put preservatives into the product, but the hospitals want us to put preservative in the product. So for them, we actually mix those, and we're putting a preservative in there. I'm not sure why, but I'm guessing it's more to do with bacteria and having some issues there. So
yeah, gotcha. So Jack, but the ingredients that you guys typically use, right? You're using the highest quality milk and yeast and all of that, right?
Well, we use manufacturing cream, which is the highest fat content. And I mean, obviously, real eggs. We do our eggs are frozen now. We get buckets of eggs because we go through too many.
Oh, I'm sure.
We can't sit and crack. And there's also the not the health department, but the FDA in inspecting the place. They don't want fresh eggs. I think they want a pasteurized product.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, we're not organic. I don't think maybe we could do it for certain customers who say, yes, we want to pay for that. But I don't think we can afford to do that. But we do, we're trying to use the best products we can. I mean, we use real chocolate. There's no fake chocolate here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I kind of look at things sometimes a little different. And I think I have a good perspective because I'm basically talking about myself is, I like to say, oh, you know what? I'm going to do the healthier alternative to it. And sometimes I do, but most of the time I'm like, I just want the one that tastes really, really good. Right. So
Yeah.
I always think about that for like companies of, we work with a lot of breweries and I mean, even restaurants where it's like,
Mhm.
you're kind of guessing what people want. Right. I mean, you get
Yeah.
those consistent customers, but when you're trying to bring in new people or follow trends or whatever, yeah, I don't know. It's just really interesting.
I think on the breakfast pastry side, it's always blueberry muffin, banana bread, croissant Danish. So you bring in something different, but it always goes back to those original traditional. Um,
Yeah.
on the bread side, you do see more of the trends. I mean, all of a sudden, let's say people on the brioche bandwagon or whatever, and then it's the pretzel bun, and that ebbs and flows. I mean, we make those all,
Yeah.
but I think, like I say, that's like moves around, I guess, with trends. We never
Sure.
did low carb. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
If it tastes bad, we don't want to do it. So
Right. Do you do extra carb? Is there any way you can add some like extra carbs in there for
well,
me?
it already is.
Yeah.
Just
Already
eat more
loaded.
of it. Eat more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go. So, and I noticed too that you're involved with a lot of things within that industry, right? Organizations within the baking industry, right?
So it depends. I mean, the Bakery Equipment Manufacturers Association, they invited me several years ago as a guest speaker, because they want. So they have these events once a year where they bring out all the manufacturers get together, and then they bring out bakers
Okay.
and all sizes of bakeries. I mean, all the way from Bimbo's, like the biggest bakery in the world, down to us, I guess. And so I've been there 3 years now, in which I've gone in and I've been a speaker, and then they get to know who the customers. And the other side of it is, in meeting these guys, in meeting owners versus the salespeople, you get a bigger, better perspective. Like, they'll tell you things that the salesperson may not know, how that equipment was developed or designed, and how it can make your business better. I mean, that's pretty much it. I was involved with the culinary school on the advisory board, and I kind of, when they asked me to be on the advisory board, this was the Cordon Bleu one, which is closed now. When they asked me, I was like, but I don't agree with what you're doing. And they kind of said, well, we want you on the board for that reason. Because I felt that the kids should do an externship first, so see if they actually like this industry before they go spend $40,000 of their money to become a chef that they may not like ultimately. So that was kind of my reason I was kind of against it. I think there needs to be a lot more practical schools, or I don't know what I mean, not everybody's cut out to go to university.
Yeah.
Why there's a big push to go to university where, electrician's a good job, plumber's a good job, baker's a good job,
Yep.
chefs, all that kind of thing. It just seems as if the schools are becoming this big industry almost. Everybody has to go. Everybody needs to stay on campus for a year, and becomes a big business.
Taking on debt is just a part of the process, right?
Which is bad.
Yeah. You can't drink beer yet, but you can go ahead and take those loans out all day.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Jonathan, I saw somewhere too that you guys had, that someone said you guys had the best, was it the best olive bread in town?
Well, we won best olive bread a few years back.
Yeah.
And what's kind of weird is we don't have any social media. We're not out there like saying, hey, this is our business.
Yeah.
And we sell wholesale. I mean, we never had names on the side of our trucks until 9/11, because we were delivering to the airport, and now they required that your truck had the sign of which bakery or which business. So prior to that, we had nothing. I mean, our business grew word of mouth. Chefs moved around. And so I do not know how we won at the stage at, best olive bread. But it is a good olive bread. I can say that much.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the stuff we make. I mean, we make like the artisan breads, you know, that have long fermentation, that have great flavor,
Okay.
and then we make straight doughs that are maybe not as good, but that's
Yeah.
that's the sliced sandwich bread.
Yeah.
So
That full spectrum then, right? You guys kind of cover with that. That's probably great for flexibility as far as working with bringing people in, right? Like, hey man, what do you need? Like we'll make it happen.
we make too many items,
Do
and
any?
essentially, I've always said, you know, we don't say no. We'll try whatever the customer wants, and it's got to a
Yeah.
stage where we do make too much stuff. But that's what we are. We were always the hotel bakery, so every hotel wanted something different.
Yeah.
You
Something
know?
that set themselves apart, kind of signature type things.
It seems that that's kind of going away, though. The signature
Uh,
stuff, it's you know, there's the corporate bean counter that's saying every Marriott should have the same product, or every, you know, Hilton, and there's, even though they have different levels of those hotels, the
yeah.
individuality is kind of, I think, going away.
Gotcha.
But that's just my
So
opinion.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got some experience in it, Jonathan. So your opinion is much more valuable than mine at this point. So Jonathan, you guys were at some point. You guys did the Tempe Farmers Market. I don't know if is that still going? Do they have the farmers market still rolling?
You're talking about the actual the actual store, Tempe Farmers Market.
I don't think maybe that's what I saw. That could be
Yeah,
Tempe Marketplace.
yeah. So that was one of our customers. We've done. We did the farmers market at the Wigwam.
Okay,
That was a long time. Boy, that was a long time ago. I
gotcha.
remember sending my kids out there when they first got their driver's license.
Have them do the pop up there.
Yeah, and then we did when Simply Bread went out of business, we took over their booth at the Scottsdale market, and that was like 2011, I think, 2011,
Okay,
2012.
gotcha.
But that's not really our business, and
Sure,
so
sure.
we don't do cash. You know, it's always, this is, you know, checks and credit cards for our hotel customers or restaurant customers.
Big transactions. You're not selling $2,
But
croissants
that's,
and stuff.
look, so well, that's changed. I mean, what's happened now with COVID, we're like, okay,
Sure.
what do we do? And so we started doing the retail boxes where we deliver to people's homes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
$30, you know, it's a $30 box. There's a variety of product in there: pastries, breads, muffins, cookies, and then $5 delivery. And then every week we change it. And we actually have add-ons now where people can pick things they like. So it's not just the box, but they can.
Nice.
So that, and actually yesterday was the first day in 28 years I actually filed a sales tax report and sent in a check, because we were collecting sales tax now. Because it's retail.
Yeah.
And obviously with the coffee shop too, we'll have to do that, the same thing. There'll be sales tax. And,
where can people get the boxes right now?
So you can go online to jonathanrobinsbakery.com website, and if you order it, you can call, but you could actually just order and pick what you want. And usually, so you order today, which is Tuesday, anytime Tuesday, then it'll be delivered Thursday.
And how far does it go? How far? Just metro area, Phoenix?
Essentially, yes. I've shipped several boxes to Florida. I've shipped to California. We've shipped to Texas. They pay the shipping, but we've done that. We've shipped away.
They're like, we don't care, Jonathan. We'll pay for it. We want your stuff. Yeah.
So we have shipped. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, so how do you? Let me ask, if you don't mind me asking you, is how does it feel for you to go in these directions after doing it for, the same way for what you said, nearly 30 years, right? Like kind of having that system and that flow, and now having to make that adjustment.
It's just part of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I tell people is, I haven't worked in 28 years. I mean, I've done a lot of work. There's a lot of stress.
Sure.
But I love what I do. It's never been work. So I've been lucky in that. And this is just what we have to do. We need sales. We need to keep people employed. Yeah. And it's what we're doing. And the coffee shop, if we can generate some good sales, we can pay people more money, because obviously we're still running at a third of normal sales, so which is not pleasant, but
yeah,
we'll survive. It's just I'm working. I'm actually mixing dough in the mornings at 6:30, and I come in, I mix doughs. I work with the guys, which I haven't done in I don't know how many years.
Long time. Did you miss it? Like, did it feel good to get back into it?
I like doing it.
Okay.
I mean, it's harder work now. I mean, I'm 54, so it seems as okay, my body's not as used to that. It's actually good for my back because pulling dough out of a mixer strengthens your back, and my back needed some work.
Yeah. Whip you back into shape a little bit, huh?
Yeah. It's been a good thing.
Yeah.
And I like it, as I said. It's just part of life. So.
And so what's the vision for you guys? Like, what is it? What do you want? I mean, obviously current situation is sad. You can't even predict what's going to go on next week. Right.
Right.
But in the ideal world, Jonathan, what does Jonathan Robbins Bakery become? What do you want it to be?
So essentially I never had this idea of where I was going. I never knew when I bought the bakery that this is where I would be. 10 years ago, 15, I had no idea. There was just a hard work, and that was it. And hopefully I was working the right direction. So who knows where it goes? You see, we kind of take it as it comes. I mean, my manager's, she's running the bakery, and we haven't had a salesperson for many years. Now we have a salesperson. She started 5 months ago. Okay. Because we need to generate more sales because of what's been going on.
Sure.
And the COVID thing, though, we kind of knew what was going to happen. My wife's a nurse practitioner, and in January she said to me, "Jonathan, this is coming to America, and we are not prepared for this." So she she knew. I mean, she was looking at what's going on, and she's very smart. She's never wrong.
Yeah, that's a good person to have on your side, man. A very good person. Yeah.
But I mean, I'd like to grow the coffee shop. I don't know where that goes. I mean, maybe it becomes this fantastic thing that maybe we move it to another location or open a second one. The thing about it is I'm going to come at 4 a.m. I'm going to bake all those pastries, just like we used to do 20 years ago. It's going to be fresh and hot at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Boiled bagels, like the traditional boiled, not what we sell to our regular customers. It'll be a stiffer, denser dough, but traditionally boiled. And we're calling it Experiment at JRB because we're just going to experiment on the customers with product. We'll make new things. We'll maybe have a couple of very small limited menu, which we'll continually work on, experimenting with products. And whatever we're selling here most likely will not be sold to any customers out there. So they'll have to come here for the good stuff.
Nice. I like that. I see a future of being a coffee connoisseur. I know you don't like it now, but I think it's an inevitable path for you, Jonathan. You're going to be drinking coffee.
Well, I mean, I taste them and I know things that taste better. I mean, I do. I grew up not really drinking much. So the same thing. I don't have a desired taste for alcohol.
Okay.
I like tequila, but really the rest of the stuff I'm not a fan of. I don't drink beer. And so I'm guessing that taste genetics is something that I'm missing, and so that flavor, somebody said the tannins or something, maybe that's what it is. And I don't understand why beer is refreshing. I'll drink it and go like, this is bad.
Yeah. Well,
Gatorade's refreshing.
There you go. So
I'm sorry, because I know you're kind of this is kind of more your thing, but we'll sell
Jonathan, I always say, I tell people all the time, I said that it's everybody that says they don't like beer, you haven't found the right one. So it's my goal to find you the beer that's the right fit for Jonathan Robbins.
so growing up, we always had beer shandies. My parents or my dad, you'd have a beer with Sprite or ginger ale or whatever. And that was kind of what we drank as kids.
Yeah.
But you could call it a sweet beer then, I guess. Or
like a soda kind of, yeah. Yep. Well, there's a whole spectrum these days. It goes from sour to, it tastes like bourbon to tequila barrel aged beers and everything in between. There's some gross ones, there's some good ones, so.
Yeah.
But well, Jonathan, thanks for joining, man. We really appreciate you taking the time to tell us your story.
Okay. Well, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I like talking, actually. So
Yeah. Well, especially talking about what you love, right?
yeah, maybe I talk too much.
Nah,
So
it was
okay.
perfect. It was perfect. Yeah. So,
And you
well,
guys,
cool. Yeah.
if you guys, I mean, if you're in the neighborhood, you can always stop by and see our place. If you look on our website, I think there may be a link to the Experimented JLB. I'm not 100% sure, but that website is not actually up.
Okay.
But we do have Instagram with several pictures already of what we've of sort of some things. It's Experimented JLB, and maybe at the Instagram you can see some pictures.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
And as I said, we had no social media up until 4 months ago, so we really babies. But so you help. I mean, that's you kind of every opportunity, sort of get the word out to help our business. That's great.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, those are things that we can help with too. If that's something you guys want to get rolling, we'd love it. And you know, I can never get enough bread. So it's a it's a good thing.
Tell me what you want.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm looking at the menu right here now here. Let me see. Yeah. But well, Jonathan, thank you so much. Like I said, we appreciate it. And we'd love to chat with you again soon.
Okay. Are you guys in Arizona? I mean, you obviously are. I assume, yeah. Okay.
Yep. I'm in North Phoenix. Luke is over in Scottsdale. So yeah. And where is your location? Where's the bakery?
We're in Tempe.
Okay.
1 block north of Southern, between Priest and Hardy. Sort of this industrial area.
Okay.
So I guess we figured our initial customers for the coffee side would be the neighborhood, and we'll send somebody out to speak to everybody, and we'll bring them in, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to come down. I love coffee. I like bread. It's a perfect marriage. So I'm going to keep an eye on it for opening.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So well, cool. Luke, anything else? Anything else you can think of we didn't cover?
No, I'm just excited to get one of those bread boxes.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Yes.
If you come pick it up, I'll bake it for you in the morning.
Oh, I think I might be able to swing that.
That would be awesome.
You just gotta let me know, because obviously when you order, I don't see that. That goes to the order desk and everything. But if you're doing anything, just let me know ahead of time.
Okay, we will. Absolutely.
We'd feel very special.
Yes.
Thanks.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
Well, guys, there you have it. Jonathan Robbins of Jonathan Robbins Bakery. Their baked goods are in a variety of restaurants, coffee shops, and hotels around the valley, so chances are you've probably already had some of their stuff. Still, make sure to follow them on social media, as well as A Taste of AZ. Like the video below, subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.